Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told as podcast. We're going on a journey today.
A journey.
Yeah, and we're going to explore something that you use every single day, but probably don't think too much about. Batteries.
Battery.
From the tiny ones in your earbuds to the giants powering those electric cars.
Yeah.
We're going to uncover their secrets, and trust me, there are more surprises than you might think.
It's amazing how something so, ubiquitous
Right.
can have such a rich history and the complex science behind it.
Absolutely.
So we're going to delve into the stories of the pioneers who dared to experiment with electricity,
Yeah.
the evolution of battery technology, and even take a peek into the future
Of
this powerful invention.
I like it. All right, so let's rewind the clock way back to 1749.
Okay.
I'm talking about Benjamin Franklin.
Wow.
Yes, that Benjamin Franklin.
This is a while back.
He was experimenting with electricity and came up with a term that we still use today, battery. But here's the catch. He wasn't talking about the batteries that we know and love.
Exactly. He used the term battery to describe a collection of Leyden jars,
Leyden jars.
which were, early devices that stored static electricity. He linked them together, much like we connect battery cells today, to create a more powerful electrical source.
So he was ahead of his time.
And he even used the military term battery because these jars were working together for a common purpose. Isn't that fascinating?
It's mind-blowing. Who would have thought that the founding father who flew a kite in a thunderstorm also laid the groundwork for our understanding of batteries?
Right.
But it took another brilliant mind to create the first true electrochemical battery.
And that credit goes to Alessandro Volta,
Volta.
who in 1800 invented the voltaic pile.
The voltaic pile.
It was a groundbreaking invention, a stack of copper and zinc discs separated by brine-soaked paper that produced a continuous flow of electricity.
Now here's something you can try at home. And
Right.
this is where it gets really fun. Early batteries could be made with everyday items like coins and saltwater-soaked paper towels.
Yeah.
It's a great way to demonstrate the basic principle of how a battery works. Converting chemical energy into electrical energy.
Yeah, it really showcases the ingenious simplicity of the concept.
Right.
You see, a battery is all about creating a flow of electrons, those tiny particles that carry electricity. And this flow is driven by chemical reactions happening inside the battery.
So if you're ever stranded on a desert island with a pocket full of change and a sack of paper towels, you might just be able to rig up a makeshift battery to power your distress signal.
Hypothetically speaking, yes.
Hypothetically.
So it might not be the most powerful battery.
Sure.
It would demonstrate the core principle beautifully.
Nicely done.
But let's talk about the batteries we use every day.
Yeah.
Remember those AA batteries you put in your remote?
Yeah.
Those are primary batteries, designed for single use. They're great for convenience, but once they're depleted, they're done.
Makes sense.
Yeah, then we have the workhorses, the secondary batteries, like the one in your smartphone or laptop.
Right.
You can recharge these bad boys over and over again, making them much more sustainable
Sustainable.
and cost-effective in the long run.
And it's fascinating to see how battery technology evolved to make these rechargeable wonders possible.
It is.
We went from wet cells, which were prone to leaks and spills, to dry cells, which were much safer and more portable.
Much better.
Speaking of evolution, car batteries are a whole different beast altogether.
Yeah.
They are lead-acid batteries known for their ability to deliver a massive jolt of power to start your engine.
Exactly.
They're heavy and not as energy-dense as their modern counterparts,
Right.
but they get the job done.
They do.
And this journey from simple experiments with coins and salt water to the powerful batteries that start our cars is a testament to human ingenuity.
It really is.
But this is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of the incredible world of batteries.
We have. Welcome back to Tell Me More. We left off talking about the evolution of batteries from those simple experiments to the powerful ones that start our cars.
Right.
Now let's fast forward to the modern era
Okay.
and talk about a true game changer. Lithium-ion batteries.
I've always wondered why lithium-ion batteries are considered so superior.
Yeah.
They're in everything these days,
Yeah.
from our smartphones and laptops to electric vehicles.
Right.
What's the secret sauce that makes them so special?
Well, it all comes down to energy density.
Energy density.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Energy density is like how much fuel you can pack into a given space.
I like that.
Lithium-ion batteries have an incredibly high energy density, meaning they can store a lot of energy in a small package.
Okay.
That's why your smartphone can last all day without being the size of a brick.
That makes perfect sense.
Right.
But here's something that's always baffled me. Lithium is a highly reactive metal. So I'm surprised it's used in batteries at all. Isn't there a risk of, things going boom?
You're right to be cautious.
Right.
Because early on, lithium wasn't even considered for batteries for that very reason.
Wow.
But brilliant minds found ways to stabilize lithium and harness its electrochemical potential safely.
Good.
That's what led to the development of lithium-ion batteries in the 1990s.
1990s, okay.
And they quickly became the gold standard for portable electronics.
So beyond their impressive energy density, what else makes lithium-ion batteries so great?
Well, they have a few other tricks up their sleeve.
Okay.
First, they have a relatively low self-discharge rate, meaning they lose their charge slowly when not in use.
Okay.
Remember those old rechargeable batteries that would go dead even if you weren't using them?
Yeah.
Lithium-ion batteries don't have that problem.
That explains why my phone battery seems to last much longer than those old rechargeable ones.
Right.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room, safety concerns. Haven't there been cases where lithium-ion batteries have overheated and even caught fire?
Those concerns are definitely valid, and it's important to acknowledge the risks.
Yeah.
Lithium is a reactive element, and if a battery is damaged or charged improperly, things can go wrong.
Uh-oh.
But modern lithium-ion batteries are designed with multiple layers of safety features to prevent overheating and short circuits,
Okay.
which are the main causes of those incidents.
So they're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
That's reassuring to know. It sounds like a lot of thought has gone into making these batteries as safe as possible.
Absolutely.
But it's clear that lithium-ion batteries are more than just a passing fad. What's next for this amazing technology?
Well, the research and development never stopped.
It doesn't.
Scientists are constantly pushing the boundaries to create even better batteries. For instance, imagine lithium-sulfur batteries, which have the potential to offer significantly higher energy density than current lithium-ion batteries. We're talking electric vehicles with ranges comparable to gasoline cars or smartphones that could last for days on a single charge.
Wow, lithium-sulfur batteries sound like they could be a real game changer.
Yeah.
And I've also heard whispers about solid-state batteries.
Yes.
What's the deal with those?
Solid-state batteries are considered the holy grail of battery technology.
The holy grail.
They replace the liquid or gel electrolyte found in traditional batteries with a solid material.
Interesting.
This eliminates the risk of leakage and makes them inherently safer. Plus, they offer even higher energy density and faster charging times.
Okay, now we're talking science fiction.
Right.
But seriously, how close are we to actually using solid-state batteries in our everyday lives?
There are still some hurdles to overcome.
Okay.
Cost is a significant factor.
Cost always is.
Because the materials used in solid-state batteries are currently quite expensive.
Right.
Researchers are also working on improving their durability and lifespan. But the progress is exciting, and it's only a matter of time before we see solid-state batteries powering our world.
That's amazing. But before we get too carried away with the future, I want to bring it back to the present.
Okay.
We've talked about all these different types of batteries.
Yeah.
But I'm still a bit fuzzy on some of the technical terms I hear thrown around.
Yeah.
Like capacity, discharge rate, and lifespan.
Yeah.
Can you break those down for me?
Absolutely. These are important concepts to understand.
I think so.
Not just for choosing the right battery for your needs, but also for using them effectively.
Right.
Let's start with capacity. Think of capacity as the size of the battery's fuel tank.
The fuel tank?
Yeah, it's the amount of electric charge a battery can deliver at a given voltage.
So a higher capacity means a bigger fuel tank and therefore longer runtime for my device.
Exactly. We measure capacity in ampere hours.
Okay.
Or milliampere hours. For smaller batteries. Now imagine you're driving a car. If you floor it and accelerate rapidly, you'll burn through your fuel much faster than if you drive at a steady pace.
Okay, that's a great analogy.
Right.
So are you saying that using a battery at a high discharge rate is like flooring it in a car?
Exactly.
It drains the battery faster.
Precisely, discharge rate refers to how quickly a battery is drained of its energy.
Okay.
It's measured in C rate, which is a ratio of the discharge current to the battery's capacity. A higher C rate means a faster discharge, which can reduce the battery's capacity and lifespan over time.
That explains why using high-drain devices like my digital camera seems to drain the battery much quicker than listening to music on my phone.
Right.
Okay, so we've got capacity and discharge rate covered. What about lifespan?
Okay.
How many times can I recharge a battery before it needs to be replaced?
That depends on several factors, including the battery's chemistry, how it's used, and how it's charged.
So many factors.
Some types, like nickel-cadmium batteries, can be recharged hundreds of times. But they're not as common these days.
Right.
Others, like lithium-ion batteries, typically have a lifespan of a few years or a certain number of charge cycles.
Okay.
Right.
And then there's the memory effect. I've heard about this.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure what it means. Can you clear that up for me?
The memory effect was a concern with older nickel-cadmium batteries.
Older ones, okay.
If you repeatedly recharged a battery before it was fully discharged, it would remember the lower capacity and wouldn't charge to its full potential.
So it's like the battery was developing bad habits.
You could say that.
Okay.
But thankfully, modern batteries like nickel metal hydride, NiMH, and lithium-ion batteries are much less prone to the memory effect.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about babying them as much.
That's good to know. Understanding these key factors can help us all choose the right battery for our needs.
Yes.
And use them in a way that maximizes their performance and lifespan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about batteries without addressing another crucial aspect, safety and sustainability.
You're absolutely right. Batteries contain chemicals that can be hazardous if not handled properly.
Right.
And their disposal raises environmental concerns. Let's delve into that in the next part of our deep dive. Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told Us podcast.
Back again.
We've journeyed through the history of batteries, explored the wonders of lithium-ion technology.
That's amazing.
And now it's time to face a critical aspect.
Critical.
Safety and sustainability. It's all well and good to have these powerful energy sources,
right,
but we need to use them responsibly.
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head.
Thanks.
Batteries are an integral part of our modern lives, but they do come with responsibilities.
They do.
We need to be mindful of both the potential hazards
Right.
and the environmental impact associated with them.
All right, let's start with safety. I have to admit, I've heard stories about batteries leaking in devices, or even in extreme cases, catching fire.
Uh-oh.
It's a little unnerving to think that something so small can pose such risks.
It's understandable to have those concerns.
Yeah.
After all, batteries contain a mix of chemicals, some of which can be corrosive, toxic, or even flammable.
Wow.
That's why it's crucial to handle batteries with care and follow some basic safety guidelines.
Okay, so what are the golden rules of battery safety? Give us the rundown of what to do.
Okay.
And definitely what not to do.
Firstly, always use the correct type and size of battery for your device. It might seem obvious.
It does.
But using the wrong battery can lead to performance issues, even safety hazards.
Yeah.
Avoid mixing old and new batteries, as this can create imbalances in the flow of electricity and potentially cause damage. And here's a simple but important tip. Remove batteries from devices you're not using for extended periods.
So like that flashlight in my emergency kit that I haven't touched in months.
Exactly.
Better safe than sorry, I guess. But what about those leakage horror stories?
Okay.
What causes a battery to leak? And is there any way to prevent it?
Leakage usually occurs when a battery is damaged, over-discharged, or exposed to extreme temperatures. Remember those corrosive chemicals we talked about?
Right.
They can seep out, damaging your device and potentially causing skin irritation.
Oh, that's not good.
If you come into contact with them.
That sounds pretty nasty. Are there any warning signs that a battery might be about to leak?
Sometimes you'll notice a white powdery residue around the battery terminals.
Okay.
That could be a sign of corrosion.
Corrosion?
And a potential leak.
Okay.
But prevention is always better than cure.
Right. All right, so we've covered leaks, but what about those more dramatic incidents of batteries overheating or even exploding? I'm curious about what causes those extreme situations and how to avoid them.
Those incidents are thankfully rare, but they usually happen when a battery is short-circuited.
Short-circuited?
Or charged improperly. Think of a short circuit as a sudden surge of electricity through a path it's not supposed to take.
Okay.
It can generate a lot of heat, and in extreme cases, lead to a fire or explosion.
That sounds scary. So how do we avoid creating those dangerous short circuits?
It's mostly about using common sense and being cautious.
Yeah.
Don't store batteries loose in a bag or drawer where they can come into contact with metal objects.
Okay.
Avoid dropping or damaging batteries and never try to disassemble them.
Good advice. Those are good tips to keep in mind. And what about charging? Is there a right way and a wrong way to charge batteries?
Absolutely. Always use the designated charger for your device.
Right.
And follow the manufacturer's instructions.
Okay.
Avoid overcharging batteries and never leave them charging unattended, especially overnight. It's better to err on the side of caution.
Right. Makes sense. It seems like a lot of battery safety comes down to respecting the power they hold and treating them with care. But let's shift gears now and talk about the other big elephant in the room, sustainability.
Okay.
We know batteries don't last forever, so what happens to them when they reach the end of their life?
That's where responsible disposal becomes crucial.
It is.
Batteries contain heavy metals and other materials that can be harmful to the environment if they end up in landfills.
Landfills, yeah.
Throwing them in the trash is definitely a big no-no.
Definitely not.
Okay.
So what's the right way to dispose of batteries?
The good news is that batteries are highly recyclable.
They are.
Many retailers and community centers have collection points where you can drop off your used batteries.
Good to know. That's good to know. But I'm curious, what actually happens to those batteries after they're collected? Do they get a second life?
They do.
What do you do?
They're taken to specialized facilities where they're sorted, processed, and the valuable materials are extracted and reused to make new batteries. It's a circular process.
I like that.
That helps reduce waste and conserve resources.
So by simply taking a few extra steps to recycle our batteries, we can minimize their environmental impact and contribute to a more sustainable future.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a fantastic note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of batteries, from their fascinating history and incredible technology to the importance of safety and sustainability.
It's been a journey.
It has. I'm leaving this deep dive with a newfound appreciation for these tiny powerhouses that play such a big role in our lives.
Me too.
And the future of battery technology is brimming with possibilities.
It is.
Imagine a world where electric vehicles can travel even farther on a single charge.
Yeah.
Where homes and businesses are powered by clean energy stored in advanced batteries, and where wearable devices can run for days without needing to be plugged in.
It's coming.
Those possibilities are incredibly exciting. It seems like we're on the cusp of a new era powered by ever-evolving battery technology.
I think we are.
Well, a huge thanks to you for sharing your expertise and insights on this electrifying journey.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Tell Me More Stories Told This podcast.
Thanks, everyone.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of batteries. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more fascinating deep dives into the topics that shape our world. Until next time, keep those minds charged up and curious.